Start recording. All right. New Flashpoint update. I did not record the new cinematic, but you guys can go watch that on your own. I am here with my friend Camden. What up?
What up?
So we're going to be playing some Arc Raiders, and then Camden also has some topics of conversation for me for his school assignment. Is that correct?
Yes, it is a school assignment. In grad school right now.
Okay, cool. And what are you going to grad school for?
I'm finishing on my teaching degree.
Okay.
So you need a master's degree to complete your certification. So I am doing that process.
Very nice. Yo, they switched up the layout of the HUD, dude.
Really?
Looks really good, actually. Project high gain antenna, rewards torrent, or however you say it. Oh my gosh. I like this. This looks good. Workshop. Okay, let's see the new Scrappy. There's apparently a new Scrappy thing. Food queue. Feeding rewards. What?
Testing.
Yeah, you sound good. Wait. Yo. You can feed Scrappy. Eat, Scrappy, eat. Yes, boy. Good man. That's cool. Workbenches all look pretty much the same. New stuff for Teen Wen.
We'll get moving.
New quests. Yes, I saw there were new quests. There's a new costume set. Ooh. What the heck? Dude, this looks like Yautja. Whoa. Yautja.
Alright, testing again. I'm just gonna record something so I can listen to it.
Yeah.
Testing. I may say some things.
We're looking at the brigade set. Ooh, I might want this. This is nice. Do I want it? Oh, it's got a hat for freaking Scrappy. Yes, I do. Poiches.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, helmet on, open. That's low-key kind of dope. And I like this one. And then, what's the backpack that goes with it? Electrician. Looking good. Oh, Scrappy. I have a new hat for you. Attaboy. Yeah, let's go.
I think I found something we might exploit. There's
3
some
wires,
noisy contraptions out
battery,
there that would just
bus
need a battery to
horn.
sound off. If I'm right, we could carve
Field
safe corridors through.
depot.
I had a deal for a bastion.
Outstanding balance.
Hey,
Test
question for you.
case.
Now, I'm not saying Ark actually evolved like that. It's only a pet theory for me.
Okay, new quest. I am a quest nut. Looks like I'm gonna have to start grinding quests again.
I'm getting so much feedback.
From me?
No, just the basement I'm in.
Oh. Yeah, there's a little bit of noise with it. On my end, it doesn't sound bad, though.
Yeah, on the recording end, though, it does. Man, it is thundering outside.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I don't.
Okay, I can still do this. That's good.
Stop recording.
28 days. You know what? I'm just gonna commit everything. I'm gonna build what I can, commit everything, and then we're gonna start from scratch. Can I build one of these? Yes, I can. I want to. Dang it, dude. I need springs. Acquire resources. Whoa, dude. They changed the crafting.
I saw they made it.
This is so much better.
They made it better.
Whoa. That was cool. Acquire resources? Oh, yeah.
Alright, I'm starting to record.
I can craft that. Yeah, let's do that. Boom, and then this recycle. Well, can I craft it? What?
What?
It won't let me craft this.
Lame.
Oh, it's because I need springs for it. Man. Maybe I go in on a free. Because apparently I don't have anything. Or we'll just craft something easy. There he is.
Hell yeah.
Upgrade this bad boy. Mechanical components. Hang on. Craft. Here we go. Craft.
There's supposed to be 2 new weapons too.
That's what I was seeing. So I'm interested to see what those are.
Heck yeah. Oh, dude, I like your armor.
Thank you. How much do I have? I can work with that. Okay.
I got no loadout.
Yeah, same, dude. Acquire resources. Oh, we can recycle that for sure.
Forgot I had all these amazing guns from Josh.
Josh is telling me. Wow, this is cool. I like this new crafting system. They did a complete overhaul. It's a very nice job. I appreciate.
Let's go, Arc Raiders.
Yeah, for real, stepping up to the plate. These are just big quality of life things. Like, wow. It's huge. Let's get a couple of these going. 533. Do I want it? Yeah, I do want that. Okay. Want one more of those. Oh, I need those. Oops. Let's.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. Let's do that. All right, I'm ready to go if you're ready to go.
I'm just making a kit. Also, the lights are flickering at my place, so in case I lose connection, it probably means the power went out.
Okay.
We're having crazy thunderstorms here.
Like that. Either he's dead or he's dodging me, which would be a poor life. Don't.
Spaceport and the Blue Gate. I can do quests at.
And I guess shredders are everywhere now.
They are now everywhere. Oh, crap, I forgot about that. Close scrutiny. Oh, that's the new ARC operation. Groups of surveyors and vaporizers are scanning for valuable materials. Their discoveries could prove worthwhile. Oh, my camera's in the way of that. Let's put me over here. Could prove worthwhile if you're prepared for resistance. No active locked doors. Decreased amount of overall loot value. Increased amount of ARC loot. Interesting. I think I might have to try that out at some point. Not right now, because I don't have any sort of loadout.
Yeah.
There's a harvester.
And there's like a new type of harvester too.
Really?
Hmm.
Interesting.
Something else you can like hack into.
Huh. Oh yeah, it's that it's the close scrutiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am ready.
Same. Let's do it. See what's new. See what's popping in the world of Arc Raiders.
Yes, sir. So, should I start the interview segment?
Sure.
Cool. So, to fill your channel in, basically what I'm getting feedback from Emmaus is the idea of going to film school. My topic is, it's supposed to be like, I forget the general gist, but like something that stands out to you in your life.
This is for your project.
Yes.
Okay. Something that stands out for you.
And like what I thought about is film school and like film in my life, the industry itself, you know, how I got involved, my love of storytelling,
Right.
Not only as a teacher, but like as a filmmaker, as a writer. And like I had this connection with Emmaus because we both went to film school together. And so I wanted to hear kind of his feedback, talk about our memorable moments. We were in a program called Television and Film Arts. Just talk about the whole process going into school, and then, you know, kind of after school, tackling the industry itself and where we are now.
Faux shizzle. BT dubs, my game just crashed.
I was gonna say, you are not here right now.
Yeah. Little upset about that. So I'm gonna try to see if I can rejoin.
Definitely do that.
It might let me do that. Reconnect available. Do it!
Do it.
Do it. All great is.
Awkwardest.
Not off to a strong start, Ark. Just gotta say, not off to a strong start. There we go.
Yeah.
Alright, let's do it. Ooh. Hey.
Hey, you're always the loot master.
Dodger's stash is deep in the traffic tunnel.
Okay, what do I
It should be
need?
marked with his insignia. Look for 2 squares.
Use 3 wires to repair and sound the emergency siren by the warehouse complex.
I'm on an assignment. Let's go to the warehouse.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Let's check it out. All right. So
anyways,
yeah. Continue, please.
Yeah. So now that Emmaus is back in the game, we're back into the interview.
We're back.
So I guess for you, Emmaus,
Yeah.
when we met, you were not in the film program at our school.
This is correct.
So I want you to tell me. Why don't you tell me just a little bit about like where you started and like how you got involved in the program? What got you into film school?
Before I met you or when I met you?
I mean, just the whole process, because I remember when we met, you were interested in the program already, but you weren't in it yet.
Right. Okay.
So tell me about, like, joining, basically.
Okay. Oh, that's a firefly. Okay.
Is that a new one?
No, that is not the new one. The new one kind of looks like a Rocketeer, but shiny.
Ew.
Oh. I don't feel particularly confident in my arc slaying abilities right now, so we'll try to avoid. But okay, yeah, so as for my journey in film, it really started with The Dark Knight. I was 8 years old, so just quick sum up of childhood inspiration. Watched The Dark Knight, loved it. I didn't know that movies were made at the time. I thought they just kind of spawned in. So I remember the credits play, and it says directed by Christopher Nolan. I look over at my dad, and I'm like, Dad, what is directed by me? And he's like, well, he made it. I was like, what? You can make movies? And
You got a snitch.
thus, the love was born. Oh no. Die! It's done. It's done. Please don't call your friends. Okay, we're safe. Yeah, so there was the love, and then it was a whole process getting into the college as it was, and I knew they had a film program, but I guess I didn't realize I could enroll right away. So I went in just with the idea that I was going to get my basics out of the way and then declare my major. So then that leads into meeting Camden. We were both in the honors program, and so where we met was kind of like an intro to honors. And for context, this program was brand spanking new at our college. They had no idea what they were doing, and we were the guinea pigs. So we're in this brand new class that doesn't have an objective, that is just kind of like, hey, let's see what we can get these kids to do since they're so smart. And yeah, I met Camden. I think he was sitting behind me, and he started talking to a mutual of ours, Nathaniel. And Nathaniel tells him his major, and then Camden says, oh, well, this is my major. I'm in television and film. I was like, yeah, what's that about film? And he's like, yeah, I'm in the film program. So I was like, bet, I need to learn how to get into this ASAP. I don't remember how I did it. I just figured it out, and then yeah, I guess that was it. Like, I started my classes, and then there was a restructuring of the program, and so we actually ended up in the same graduating class, even though Camden had entered the program before me. And I guess
lucky guy.
So I guess that's the short of it.
Dude, the giant robot
Where?
on that mountain.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, dude! Holy cow! That's insane! What's that? Wow, it is huge.
Think we'll fight against that someday?
I think so. 3 wires to repair and sound the emergency siren by the warehouse complex. Oh, siren. I know what this is.
This right here. Or what is this? Is that it? Yeah.
What?
You need wires for it.
I do need wires. I need 3 of them. Can I recycle?
I have 1.
Okay,
We might have some company.
I see him.
Oh my god, is that the new one?
It's the Firefly. Oh crap.
Did you take it down?
Yeah, I did.
Ooh, we got company. I'm taking cover. I see a leaper
Yep, I see it.
coming our way.
Snitch above.
Stand still, stand still.
Damn it.
Come on, die.
I'm surprised
Shoot,
it
I
hasn't
missed.
called yet. Oh my gosh. I'm getting hit by a wasp.
I hit him. I hit the wasp.
Okay, reloading.
Hit the wasp again. Oh, leaper's right here.
Yep, leaper. Get out of there.
That was an epic dive.
Oh, mercy.
Oh, I'm getting shot at heavily. I think, is that by people or?
It's the wasp.
Okay.
I got it.
Nice.
Wasp down. I can get to a high vantage point and we can take this leaper if you want.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Oh, dang. I just almost blew myself up.
Did they nerf the sound of the gun, dude? Or is
The
that my
sound of it?
attachment? I might have an attachment on it. It just doesn't sound as pretty, as clean. Ooh, yes, please. Sure, I'll take that.
Oh
There he
my god.
is.
I'm almost
Get out
dead.
there! Get out! Oh my gosh.
I'm down. Oh no, I'm not.
No, you're not. You're not. You're not.
I'm so close. Woo.
Stay on me. Stay on me. Stay with me, buddy. He's close.
I threw some grenades at him.
Yeah, you did a number on him. He looks hurt. He's almost done. Oh, that missed. Come on, dude. Oh.
Nice.
Come on. He's a stubborn kid. Come on. Nice,
Ooh, he's
dude.
Going.
Those are good shots. Oh,
Die already.
out of heavy. I'm officially out of heavy ammo.
Do you have more than one gun?
Yeah, I have a rattler. I'm about to be out of
me
this
too.
too. There he is.
Nice. Oh my. Ah!
Oh, what was that?
I think it was a roller.
Oh, one of those big boys.
Damn. I'm low on health.
Do you want to get out? We can just do a quick in and out.
Yeah.
I'm down to go.
Man, we took down a lot.
Yeah, we did. That wasn't half bad. There's one right here.
Home at the warehouse air shaft.
So I guess for me, getting into film, always loved writing stories.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the biggest thing for me. Like first I thought I was going to be an author.
That's cool.
And then I realized, oh my god. We are getting surrounded.
Yeah, we are.
I missed.
All I have is this Berletta. Good shots. There we go. Oh, there's a Hornet. Hey.
Nice. One more.
Okay,
Maybe not.
Reload on that. Let's do this. Alright, I'm gonna be right there. Just getting some more ammo. Oh no.
Yeah, hell no.
Hopefully he just de-aggroes. I'm gonna do that.
But yeah, obsessed with storytelling. And always loved movies growing up. Like you said, like Dark Knight, anything directed by Christopher Nolan.
For real.
And really, I think what got me into actual film, transitioning from writing for books into a visual medium, is that I watched behind the scenes of movies. Like I was like, how do you actually do all this?
Right.
Oh man.
Get in.
I'm in, go.
Here we go.
Woohoo!
Whee! Not
And
bad for a
then-
first run back.
Yeah. And then seeing those behind the scenes, I'm like, I want to do this. Like, I think I could. And then when it was time to look for college, I was like, I looked at Buff State. I interviewed there. I interviewed at Ithaca. And really enjoyed what Buff State was focusing on, which was the storytelling aspect.
Right.
And they weren't like, Ithaca was like very documentary based.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm a fictional writer. Like, I don't know. Documentary's not for me.
Yeah, same. Agreed. Whoa. Dude, when you feed Scrappy, he'll get you extra stuff. Like, he just got me some simple gun parts.
That's sick, dude.
That is sick. I love that. Wow.
But anyways,
Attaboy.
you figured out how you wanted to go into the program, got accepted.
Indeed.
So after that, what was your experience with TFA, our program? You know, were there any highlights, things you liked, things maybe you didn't like?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Anywhere you want to go off that.
Okay. Well, just looking at my notes here. So most memorable moments were definitely Portrait for us when we made Portrait. That was a heck of time. So for Portrait was the name of a 30-minute short that Camden and I helped to co-produce, and then I was co-director with our mutual friend Matt Marchese. And essentially we wrote, well, Camden wrote, we wrote, produced, and directed, edited a short film entirely in 360 degrees. So it was like, it looked like a GoPro. It was like yay big. With one of them was 2K, so it had two cameras back to back that stitched the image together. One was 4K. It was truly 360. And what a nightmare and fun time. It was both at the same time. So that was definitely a highlight and a low, but I think both of us, all of us, learned a lot about ourselves, learned about just the process of making film in a way that really can't be taught. And I think that is the most difficult part of like outlining what I liked and didn't like, is because there's a lot that can be taught, but there's a lot that can't be taught. And I guess we just kind of figured out what couldn't be taught over the course of, you know, so many years. I don't know if you feel the same, Camden, but just like there's a lot that entering sets, I realized I didn't know this, or I wasn't prepared for this. They didn't teach me this. And it was kind of, it was cool, but it was a bit daunting to be so for real. Okay, anyway, the next memorable high and low at the same time, Maelstrom. We were our senior class, and we made a 30-minute TV pilot. That's a whole fiasco. We can have an entire video just talking about Maelstrom and an entirely different video just talking about Portrait. So if you guys want to have that, shout me out in the comments, let me know, and Camden and I will set that up.
Yeah, I definitely want to touch base on those. I feel like, just to give you context. So yeah, like Emmaus was saying with Portrait, it was a class for college, but it formed because the school just created a planetarium.
Yeah. And
they wanted to open up the planetarium for the first time, but they wanted to showcase some kind of movie or some kind of art on the screen to like reveal basically unveil this new thing. And so they had in mind a horror film. They wanted to make a 30-minute horror film done in 360 degrees, so the whole entire screen would be covered in an image for the whole movie.
Yep. And,
you know, me and Matt, Emmaus even sometimes touches on the genres of horror a lot, or at least thriller. Yeah. So we were all really excited about this opportunity, and it gave us an opportunity to make something as long as 30 minutes. Like before then, we were just making short films, learning the basics of film. I like how, Emmaus, you said there's some things you can teach in film school, and there's some things that you kind of have to learn with experience, with actually going out and filming something.
Yeah.
So we had no idea what to expect. We were like, yeah, we've done some short films. It's just a little bit longer, right?
No.
Wrong.
Wrong.
360 degrees. Filming something at 360 degrees is totally different because, you know, on a regular film set, you got lights around the camera. You've got people. You got a crew that's behind the camera. And then obviously you have the actors being filmed and whatever's in the shot. But you can hide everything else, what's not being shot. With a 360 degree camera, you can't hide anything. You're going to see all around the camera. So you have to basically hide your crew, hide the lights, hide the sound, and make it look as natural as possible. And that is really difficult to do.
It was hard.
I don't know if you want to touch on just the 360 experience.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, I was a co-director, so a lot of
I'm in charge.
My job, so it was four of us from the senior class that made this. It was myself, Camden, Matt, and Sydney. Sydney was our director of photography, and I guess Sydney didn't, Well, she told us this, so I'm not trying to knock you, Sydney, if you ever watch this. Just, she came to us and she was like, you know what, like, I didn't get the chance to do as many tests as I would have liked. We're like, okay, you know what, it's fine, we'll figure it out, you know, hit the ground running kind of thing. And it proved difficult because, unfortunately, Sydney hadn't been able to do tests to see, like, okay, well, if I was supposed to be playing in the scene and trying to direct, like, what would that look like? So a lot of it was figuring it out on the day at the location. Locations were a whole other thing, but on the day, trying to figure out, how are we gonna hide? How are we gonna view what we're shooting? And then how are we gonna hear it? So we had to get really creative. I think the best show of that was we had a diner scene, and so we set up the lights as best as possible to look natural, you know, motivated lighting. And then we had the crew literally sit in the diner as patrons. And they had
motivated lighting. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Motivated lighting essentially just means like, okay, well, here, we're in Arc Raiders right now, so you can see shadows are being cast, right? Shadows are being cast because of where the light is coming from. So when you create artificial light in a scene, you want to quote unquote motivate the light. Where is it coming from? Is this sunlight? Is this light sunlight? Is this light a practical? Is it my lights on top of my ceiling? Is it a lamp? Where's the light coming from? How is it casting shadows? How are we playing with that light? So it's a lot of like technical thinking that you wouldn't normally realize goes into just lighting a simple scene. So we wanted to make sure that all of our lighting was properly motivated, and doing that in 360 degrees, you don't normally have to do that. Normally your light is motivated from 180 degrees. So it's a 2D screen like you're watching on right now, whether on your phone, your computer, your TV, your Samsung kitchen, your Samsung refrigerator, whatever. 2D is very different than 360, so we just wanted to keep that accurate. Motivated lighting. Okay. And so these cameras are, again, not traditional, so we didn't have a traditional monitor, meaning we couldn't see what we were shooting unless it was connected to some sort of app. So we had to download special apps to be able to wirelessly connect to the cameras to see what we were getting. And the setting that I tended to sit on was two 180 degree panels on top of each other to simulate a 360. It was very confusing and it hurt my brain. So like, I'm trying to look at this tiny phone screen, like, how am I, where are my lights, where are my crew, can I see the sound mic, can I see this, can I see that? It was a lot of work just to get like a 3-minute diner scene.
Yeah, and I feel like truly we didn't know what we got until after we watched the footage.
Yes, that was the hardest part. And being one of the co-editors, because my co-director Matt and I decided to co-edit as well, so it was just a challenge overall. Like, we have to try and see what we're getting on a tiny screen, and then we don't know if it's even any good because the playback on the camera sucked. So we were just kind of like, okay, let's get a couple takes just to say that we have backup footage, and then cross our fingers and hope and pray. So 360, very challenging. 10 for 10, would not recommend.
No. No, would not.
Would not recommend at all.
Ooh. Got something. Exodus modules.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, and then there, like Amaya said, we could go into detail of the horrors of that set because it's more than just the difficulty of the process.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's There was lots of drama.
Drama
But,
is the nice word for it.
Yeah.
So,
But again, I think the thing we took out of it the most was getting that experience.
yeah,
We learned so much from our mistakes. And from a teacher standpoint, like myself, big thing my students do complain about is, they're in English class. They're like, why do I got to read this book? Why do I have to know this literary device? This isn't going to help me, with my career. I'm not going to be an author or writer. So
Sure.
Why does it matter? But the thing about school is you can still take anything from my lessons and it can help train you for the greater world. Like even stuff we learned on film sets in film school didn't even have to relate specifically to film. I mean, you're working with a crew, so you've got team building right there. You've got leadership skills you're learning, communication skills. I mean, Mayus, I don't know if you want to touch just on like the skills learning from a film set.
yeah. I think you touched on some pretty good ones: communication, leadership, and just team building. I think those are kind of the big ones because, yeah, you might not ever work on a film set, but guess what? You're probably going to be in a profession where you need to talk to people, and so you need to collaborate. And your ideas are going to differ. So just learning how to get along with different personalities is already a challenge in itself. And then you're working grueling 12 to 14 hour days. You get tired. And so you need to learn to manage your emotions, learn to manage your words, which are things like life skills that I don't think are very much appreciated nowadays.
Ooh. No, for sure.
And then I guess
You good?
that's a fireball. I'm good. I think, okay, this is probably the biggest one, is articulation is something that you normally wouldn't think of being like...
Oh, there's a shredder.
Okay. Oh, I hear it. I thought that sounded familiar. Got it.
You got the shredder?
Yeah.
Dang, what'd you take it out with?
Some seeker grenades. Those are like my best friend, dude.
Bro, the ball just left me and went to you.
Love that. Articulation. Oh yeah. Okay. So if you've ever been around like a little kid and they want something and they're just like they're like, just frustrated and they're not talking to you, what's the one thing that you say to them? You say, use your words. And you would have no idea how many times I have been on set where people are unable to use their words. It is astonishing. These are adults, grown-ass men and women, double my age, that cannot articulate what they want me to do. And so then they just start screaming at me about how incompetent I am. When, dude, you couldn't even tell me what you wanted. So that was kind of a shock, just to be around people who can't do that. And then you have to learn to articulate. So if you're the director, or if you're the director of photography, you need to articulate to your team, hey, this is the shot that I want, and this is how we're going to do it. Otherwise, they're not going to know, and they're not going to get the job done. And you can kick and scream all you want, but if you don't know how to articulate, you're done, dude. Like, just leave the game. So I would say those are probably the biggest skills that I've learned over the years.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to touch on with TFA before I talk about the industry in general.
Sure.
is I remember that last semester. It was grueling. Working on Maelstrom, so as our senior capstone,
Yeah.
we had to make a television pilot, so everyone in the room had to pitch an idea. Then the class voted on which idea they were going to choose for their pilot. They ended up choosing my idea.
Which is a very good idea until they ruined
Appreciate it. Oops, sorry, I just hit my mic. Hopefully it didn't sound like an avalanche.
No, you're good.
Which, yes, it was my idea, but then we were all assigned roles for that set.
Oh,
And I was not assigned as head writer, so that was interesting because I basically had to give up my baby. I had to be like, you know what, this is my idea. You take it and run with it how you please, and just kind of had to do that.
Yeah.
And that caused drama, that caused problems. We don't have to touch base on all of that. But the thing I remember the most was that our professor was kind of just like, you guys figure it out.
Yeah.
And this was like COVID times. This was
that's right.
a lot of different moving parts, and we had to figure a lot of things out in their class in general on our own.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hear your take on that, Emmaus. Like, was it good in the end that we learned a lot ourselves? You wish the teacher jumped in more? Like, what is your thoughts on that?
Wow, that's a good one. Okay, so from my perspective, I've been a sort of teacher figure before. I volunteered at my church to volunteer with middle schoolers and high schoolers, and so there's like a Bible lesson, and like you want to facilitate conversations and all that jazz. Okay, so coming from that sort of background, I guess, sometimes the questions weren't that great because there were presupposed questions that were asked during the service that were kind of generic and not like really encouraging all that much thinking. And so I started to come up with my own questions just to challenge, or like if I didn't think any of the questions were good, I would just make them my own. So all that to say, I think what hurt us was that our professor didn't do any such challenging. He just said, well, this is the challenge of filmmaking. Figure it out. You have nobody to help you. Go. And we were like, nobody to help us? And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to help you. Like, straight up told us, I'm not helping you. And that was kind of devastating to us as young, 20, 21-year-olds. We're like, dude, this is the biggest thing we've ever done, and you're saying you're not going to help us in any way, shape, or form. And he was like, yeah, figure it out.
Do you want to go to the south elevator?
Sure. So my wish is that he would have said, hey, okay, you're having some trouble. Let's approach this from a different angle. Like, I don't know, maybe he could have come up with a question to guide us in the right direction, right? Get us, lay the groundwork, get us thinking. But then at the same time, I can absolutely appreciate, like, from his perspective, he probably didn't have any help getting his stuff off the ground. He probably didn't have any help doing anything on his own until he was like, well, this is how I learned and this is how you should learn, which I'm not condoning that in terms of parenting, teaching, or anything, but sometimes experience is the best teacher. I just wish he'd had the heart to say, you know what, I had it tough. I don't want you to have it exactly the same, so let me offer a hand. I'm not going to give you the answer, but I'll give you some help. So, I mean, good and bad, like, you got to take it both. So I think, in retrospect, yeah, I wish for different, but what can I do,
Ooh, man.
I'm good.
You're good.
Jeez Louise. I do need one of these things, though.
Oh, I got a wasp.
Let's do this. Okay, coming.
Shoot, I missed.
I did too. Jeez Louise.
Got a hit.
I think they decreased the bullet velocity on the Pharaoh.
I think they did too.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is what it is, but if we could do it over again, I think I would have said something more. Because I do remember, like, I complained. I was like, yo, prof, you're not giving us anything, and we're in the middle of a pandemic that you haven't even gone through before.
Yeah.
So, like, can you help us out? And he was like, well, okay, like, if you need some help with locations, then maybe I can talk to some people for you. And that was about it, which, I mean, yes, it was helpful, but it wasn't, I guess, the kind of support I was hoping for.
Yeah.
But it was something, you know, I guess. So, that's what I thought.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I feel like for some things, especially during COVID, I remember we had to make short films, not even the big projects.
Right.
And the biggest thing was locations, getting a location that would allow us to film there during, you know, a pandemic where germs were a huge thing. Like, they didn't want people touching their stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of us try to just shoot at the college itself. But even then, like, I remember you tried to get a library set just to film at the library, and they wouldn't give permission.
Yep.
And, like, you asked the professor to help out with that because he said he would, and then he's like, nope, that's your job.
Yeah, and then he didn't. He was like, well, that's, you know, their department. I was like, bro, what?
Yeah, and he was no help on those things.
Yeah.
And we had to use real-world actors that weren't from our class.
That was one of the stupidest requirements, I gotta say.
Yeah, and everyone needed to get COVID tested to work. And, like, you know, if you're getting an actor, you're asking to work for free.
Yeah.
And then you're going to tell them, you need to get a COVID test too and all this stuff. Like,
yeah.
it's a lot to ask. And,
It
like,
was.
maybe the project should have been shifted around a bit during that time.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I'm always planning as a teacher around, like, current events. What's going on? You know, what it might be different this year. Maybe even my class in general, planning around that. Like, I might have a class of kids that really want to work together. I might have a class of kids that don't want to talk to each other. And so I can't, like, if I assign a group project, it might be good for them, but it also might hurt them in the end. So I'm constantly thinking about all these things while I'm teaching. And I don't think our professor at the time really realized, like, no, this is very difficult.
Yeah.
Yes, as filmmakers, we're going to be asked to do a lot, but should have given us a little more leeway, I think.
I think so. But I mean, for what it's worth, like, I think in the long run, were the most resourceful filmmakers and students on any of our sets moving forward.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he was looking at us as kind of like some of the best in his class, and I don't think he said it outright to us, but just the way he treated us, the way that he delegated tasks.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember he gave us on that final set. He gave us some of the like lesser positions because he didn't want us to take over the set, even though he knew we were capable of it. He wanted others to like have their moment too, which, you know, I respect.
Yeah. But it was hard. I mean, so at least in my case, I had applied to be the director for Camden's TV show. And it was between me and like 3 other people. and two of them just, I mean, we saw their shorts earlier in the year, and we saw the work that they had done, and most of the class knew, okay, those two aren't going to make it at all. So it really came down to me and the other guy. And in my not so humble opinion, I looked at the other guy and I was like, I am clearly the better candidate, so I've got this in the bag. And I remember I went to Camden and was like expressing this, and he said the same thing. He's like, dude, you got this. Easy. Okay, so then we entered the interview process, because we had to interview for the biggest positions: director, DP, production designer, all those, right? So I entered the interview, and it wasn't an interview. I had my portfolio, and I had my resume, and I had my works, everything. I was like completely ready. He only started it with one proper interview question. He's like, why do you think you should be director? And so I told him, I was like, well, I have more experience. I have the most experience out of all these kids. Like, you've seen my YouTube channel, which at the time was a completely different name, completely, off base. We don't talk about that one. But you've seen my work, you've seen the stuff that I can do. And I directed a 30-minute short entirely in 360 degrees before this class, and I'm editing it right now. If there's anybody that you can trust with a good, finished, polished project, it's me. And he was like, okay, absolutely, valid, fair points. You are totally right, except I'm not going to give it to you. I was like, then why did you bring me in anyway? And he goes, because you are the stronger candidate. And I heard how you assistant directed. My first feature that I AD'd was called Chicken Strips. And apparently I did phenomenal. I don't even know what I did, bro, but apparently I did amazing. And the director at the time was also in our film program, and so was speaking very highly of me as an AD. And so the professor was like, I'm going to put you as an AD because we need a strong AD to be able to finish this. I need aces in their places. If I had anybody else in the assistant director position, this pilot would not get done. And I know you can do it. And I was like, so I can't argue? He was like, unfortunately, no. Like, you're the assistant director. I was like, okay. And so I left super dejected, super deflated, very angry. And that sucked. I don't even know what else to say. That really sucked a lot. Because the thing was, like, he essentially told me, you are too good at what you do in any area to not be utilized where I need you. And where I was needed was in the position of logistics, because nobody else could apparently do the job. He was like, you're too good a director that you would steamroll your AD. You need an AD. We need an AD that is better than the director, and you're the better AD. And so he shoehorned me into that position, which actually catapulted me into the last 5 or 6 years of my career, where I have been majority of the time an assistant director. It is because of that project that I have been an AD for the last 6 years.
So that's actually a perfect transition into, like, from film school into the industry. Could you tell me about your first film you worked on, how you found the role as assistant director, and what even is an assistant director for those who aren't in the film industry?
Yeah, so an assistant director, when you watch a movie and then you see the ending credits, oftentimes the assistant director will be the second or third name that comes up. There's multiple positions of an assistant director. You can be a first, you can be a second, you can be a second, you can be a third, but semantics. So I'll just start from the top down. The logistical production structure goes executive producer, is over everything, and then it goes producers. Line producers are kind of on the same level, and then under them is the director and the assistant director. The assistant director, contrary to what you might believe, the assistant director is not shadowing the director, learning how to make shots, learning how to make a movie on his own. Instead, what you got to understand is that back in the early days of film, I'm talking over 100 years ago, the director was a twofold job. They had to handle logistics of, okay, we're getting the shot now, and then action. So they were doing both. So the assistant director position was created to alleviate that stress so that the director can only focus on creative aspects. So he's just focused on shot composition, color, mood, actors, performances, all that jazz. He's not having to focus on the logistics of where's my makeup, why are the actors not in the chair. So that leads me to assistant director. The first assistant director is essentially running the show. The director says, I want this shot. The AD says, okay, I can make that happen. Camera, go over there, get that shot going. He wants it on this lens with that focal length. Second assistant director handles talent because there is no acting department on set. It's the second assistant director. So the first says to the second, I need the actors in costumes. I need the actors in makeup. I need them ready for this scene. Get them going. Okay, go. That's getting going. And then there's only so much time. So industry standard is 12-hour days. That's grueling. It sucks, but it is simply the industry standard. We work 12 to 14-hour days. There are those who oppose that, like myself and Camden, and even, oh my gosh, I forgot his name, Bill Hader, and some other filmmakers. They will purposefully create a shorter schedule so that people aren't burned out. But that is normally the job of the assistant director. The assistant director creates the schedule, creates the day-to-day process, and organizes how the entire film is going to get shot on a daily basis. So it's very intense, grueling, mind-numbing, logistical, difficult work. But without the assistant director, no film would get made. And for those who genuinely work in the industry and see an AD work, they're kind of the silent heroes of the set. Not trying to toot my own horn, but the reason I don't want to be an AD anymore is because I often feel unappreciated in my role. If it wasn't for my logistical brain, nothing would have gotten done, and we would have gone over budget. We wouldn't have been able to finish the film on time. Just so many things hang on the assistant director.
Thank you, Mayus.
Yes.
So how did you get on your first film set, and what was your first role?
That was
and this
actually...
is outside of school.
Oh, outside of school. Okay. Well, it was actually you. You got me my first feature.
Hey.
So we had our mutual friend Colin. I actually knew Colin from my private school. And he was in the film program, and he's like, hey, I'm making a feature. Our mutual buddy Camden tells me that you're good and that you can get things done. So I'm looking for an assistant director. I was like, what the heck? Oh, this is the new arc. It locked onto me, dude. Oh,
I'm coming. I didn't realize.
No,
you
it's
went
okay.
over
It's
there.
okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna look at it. Wow. That is scary stuff. Jump. Yeah, so I hopped on to Chicken Strips, my first feature, and essentially everything was planned out for me, the day-by-day shot list, the day-by-day scheduling, and Colin hands me the notebook of all of the paperwork already pre-done, and he says, just make sure that I finish the day on time. Just keep me on time. And I was like, okay. So I take the book, I read the book, and I'm like, great, easy. I just tell him, hey, hurry up, hey, we're ahead, hey, we're behind, all that jazz. That was that. And after Maelstrom is where, well, on Maelstrom is where we met the go-to assistant director in the city of Buffalo. His name is Kyle Mecca. Not Mecca.
Yeah, it is.
It is Mecca.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle Mecca.
And he doesn't assistant direct anymore.
He does not AD anymore. But at the time, he was the de facto AD. He saw my work on Maelstrom, and he told me that he was bored on set. Normally, he acts as an advisor and a sort of guide for the standing AD, and if any of them makes a mistake, then he would just hop in and help. Apparently, I was doing my job to the point where he did not have to hop in and help.
Look at this guy.
Head home at the Old Town Hatch.
So he said I was good. I was like, cool, I don't even know what I'm doing. But apparently whatever I was doing was working. And, hi guys, sorry.
Hey guys, we're friendly.
Yeah, we are too. Thank you. He started recommending me for jobs. He brought me on as a second on one thing, on a commercial or something, and it just kind of went from there, man.
Very cool. And okay, so from film school till now, what have you been up to? What is the industry like itself now that you're not in school?
Yeah.
Just give me like a rundown of that.
It's mainly been trying to chase the next gig. Just looking for the next job, seeing if there's anything that I can get onto in terms of a set. This room is not gotten, so I'm gonna get it right here.
All right, I'm coming.
What do I have in my notes? Mainly chasing the next gig. I don't believe I became as well connected as I wanted to be, but I was connected enough to where I've shaken hands with some pretty cool people that have helped me out along the way. And that's just kind of how you do it. You just meet people, shake hands, and figure it out, I guess. That's one of the things that you can't learn. So, yeah, those last 6 years... These last 6 years... No, you're good. These last 6 years have just been kind of chasing the bag, but also trying to figure out what I want to do on my own. And just doing whatever I can. So sometimes that means short films, sometimes that means music videos, sometimes that means commercials, and just anything that I can do to make money, get connected, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with the film industry is it's who you know.
Yep.
I mean, pretty much all the jobs I've gotten on a film set were, because I knew someone, because I worked on a film with them, and then they recommended me for that next thing.
Yep, exactly.
And that being said, what advice would you give someone who's starting out, or maybe they have an interest in film? Would you recommend them to start at film school? Would you recommend them to go a different route? Like, what advice would you give that person?
Okay, so in regard to the film school question, that is a question I actually get asked by young folk. It really depends on what you want to do. If you want to be a director, don't go to film school.
Oh, interesting.
Actually, It depends. Okay, so if you want to be a director, you can take the Quentin Tarantino route, and he says in interviews, "I went to the movies for my school." I don't know what movies he was watching. I personally don't like Quentin Tarantino, so maybe don't follow that advice. But if you want to just learn some camera theory, color theory, just kind of the basics of physical framing, maybe take a camera course, like a stills photography course, take some courses here and there. I don't think you need a 4-year degree. I think you need courses. Is probably what I would say. But if you want to be like a gaffer or a cinematographer, well, okay, no, if you want to be a gaffer, don't go to school. You don't need to have a schooling background to be a gaffer. If you want to be a cinematographer, sure, I'd recommend some schooling. Again, courses, not an entire class, or not an entire 4-year degree. So yeah, it just kind of depends on what you want to do.
Oops. I think that's really interesting how you said, like, maybe don't treat it like a college degree. Treat it like, yeah, just taking a course to get more knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest lie that I was told. And I mean, most people are discovering this right now too, right? It's like, I can go to school, get the degree, and still, I'm not getting the kind of jobs that I went to school for, which is just an unfortunate reality of how the workforce is. But it's also like, if you don't need to go to school, then don't. If you just need to be specialized in one thing, go to classes for that thing, but you don't necessarily need to have an entire degree, because really experience pays off a lot more. In my case, I'm glad that I went to film school because I wanted to be a writer-director. So I had to learn how to write screenplays, which is genuinely an entirely different language on its own. It's an entirely different format. It's done very differently. And there's just kind of a certain etiquette to writing for the screen. And then learning how to adapt that screenplay so you have the script in front of you, and then how do you shoot it? How do you convert it to something that you shoot? Those were all very useful things for me. And I also took other classes like short stories, cinema history. So all in all, I'm very happy with my degree, but for depending on what the filmmaker wants to do, you don't necessarily need to go to school. So that's, I would say, part one. Part two of if you want to be getting in, get your feet wet, just jump in, find somebody. The catch-22 of being in the industry is you got to know someone to get in, and you got to be in to know someone. So you just got to start somewhere. Just start asking around. Be focused in what you want to do. Do you want to be a narrative filmmaker? Do that. If you just want to make money and you can say, I met some pretty cool people and I was on some sets, whatever, it doesn't matter to me, go work on commercials, go to the news network, go, like, that doesn't matter. But if you're trying to be focused like I am, be very picky about the jobs you take. That's 2. 3, read. You need to read. I read the dailies. It's a 5-minute newsletter. You can search up the dailies newsletter, movie newsletter, whatever. It should pop up. It's a 5-minute newsletter that you get every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it tells you what's happening in the industry, in terms of business, in terms of film, in terms of television, everything. You just kind of get a really good view of what's happening so you can keep on the up and up. And then you need to read books on your craft, on directing actors, like, so I'm going to use myself, directing actors, color theory, framing theory, thematic elements, watch background documentaries like how they did this, watch other people's reviews on movies, get different perspectives. Like, you just need to soak and absorb and learn and then apply. So I think that's all I would say for the young filmmaker.
That's some really good advice there. I hope you were taking notes.
Rewind, take it easy, because it's a lot. It's a lot to be in this industry. And I think the biggest thing is you can say you're in the industry and not be working the 9-to-5 version of it. Like, you don't have to be working at the news network to say, oh yeah, I'm in the industry. I tell people all the time I'm in the industry, and the last job I had was probably 6 months ago. But I'm connected. I know people, and I'm shaking hands still, and I'm reaching out to my contacts and just saying, hey, what's up? Let me know if you need any help or anything. I'm involved in my church, so like I have hands-on experience with cameras, so I just can keep my skills sharp and my framing sharp. I watch movies with a very different mindset. I don't think like a Chris Stuckman, who just is passionate for movies and just started his reviewing from there. I actually went to school where they taught me how to think like a filmmaker. And so when I watch things, very rarely it's for entertainment, it's for study. My studying is the films and then reading. You need to learn. Don't be discouraged by the fact that you're not working every single day as a filmmaker. Camden has a day job. He's a teacher. I have my day job. I'm a data entry operator. But we're still filmmakers. And we have an eye towards storytelling. That's very important to us. And that's what makes us filmmakers.
Oh, that was very nicely said. Yeah, I think like Emmaus, like you were saying, being a filmmaker isn't just one thing. It's collaboration. It's this gigantic thing. I mean, being in this industry, that means a lot of different things. That could mean, yeah, you're making a commercial for someone. You're filming for your church. You're just picking up a camera and you're walking around filming something at your house just with some friends. Like that is all filmmaking. You don't have to be Christopher Nolan themselves, even if that's the goal you aspire to be.
Of course.
So, yeah, it was really nicely said. I like that.
I guess, okay, so then that brings me to like, it's a very open-ended thing to say you're a filmmaker, obviously. I do want to get on a little bit of a high horse, and I think I have some credence to this. If you have an AI video generator and a brain, you can just punch anything into an AI and spit something out. You're not a filmmaker. I'm sorry. You're just not. So please don't go telling people I'm a filmmaker and all you're doing is spitting out AI generated slop. You are a trend chaser and it's not cool. Okay, because there are people like me who I've been a PA on some pretty grueling Los Angeles film sets, and then I've been an assistant director on small-time indie features in Maine, and a second assistant director in Connecticut. So I've been across the country. I know what the work entails. You are not a filmmaker. You're not getting your hands dirty. You're not like boots on the ground with us. You're not doing the work. Don't call yourself a filmmaker if you're just using AI. AI is a tool. So if you need some help with some ideas, putting together an outline so that you can write something that then you're going to put in the work to film, absolutely. AI is a tool. I personally am not using it. If that's you, use it. But it should not be the basis for your creativity. It should not be the end all be all. And there's Hollywood is actually looking at TikTokers. They're like, we're gonna get TikTokers to make TV shows and stuff. This is exactly what happened 15 years ago with the YouTube explosion. Hollywood looked at YouTubers. Would I say those guys were filmmakers? Probably not, honestly. Anytime they had a venture into the TV world, like Bo Burnham actually got a TV show because he was so big on YouTube. I wouldn't say he was a filmmaker. I would say he was a content creator. That's very different. If you're on TikTok, you're a content creator. You're looking for likes, engagement, money, all this stuff. If you're a filmmaker, you have a passion for stories, fictional or real, and you're trying your best to say something. What are you trying to say? A content creator is not trying to say anything. They're trying to just get your likes and get your attention so that they can get a paycheck. That's not a filmmaker. A filmmaker is passionate about a story. I have a story that I need to tell, whether it makes me money or not. And it's the same with a book writer. It's the same with a painter, exactly, or a photographer. Okay, like those guys are storytellers. To be a filmmaker is to be a storyteller. You're just a specialized storyteller. So let me hop off my high horse. Just wanted to get that out there.
No, that is definitely a great point. It's tough right now to be an artist, to create art, because with AI, people can just type in a prompt. It generates a whole entire movie in 5 seconds.
Yes.
There's no effort in there. There's no blood, sweat, and tears in there. You didn't put anything into that art, and then you just claim it's yours. But what did you contribute, really?
Exactly.
So, 100% agree with you on that. There's a difference. Yeah, like I was saying, being a filmmaker can mean many things. It doesn't mean everything.
Right.
Not everyone is.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, Emmaus, I think this was an awesome interview. I want to thank you for your time.
Of course.
Being honest, telling me about your background in film. Hopefully this can help others. I think we should do more of these talks.
I agree.
We could go into detail more on these topics. We just touched just a grain of salt on what filmmaking actually is.
I agree. Just the very tip of the iceberg. This is what my recording says, an hour 21. This was not even the beginning.
No.
So thank you. This is cool. This is fun. I like talking about my experience and then pushing it forward and bouncing off of someone. So thank you, Camden, for setting this up.
Hey, no problem. All right. I'm going to say my goodbye on the interview.
Sounds good.
Peace out.
Peace out. All right. With that, then I will end my own video. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you liked what you're seeing. Obviously give it a like. Anything else that you want me to talk about, either with Camden, by myself, if you have a movie you want me to watch, a TV show you want me to watch, let me know what you want to see and I'll make it happen. Thanks so much. Catch you next time.